it's Rebel Dietitian Dana McDonald. So in today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys briefly about my lifestyle. First and foremost, I think it's important that you guys understand that I don't follow any diet regimens or align myself with any health movements or philosophies. To determine my personal lifestyle approach, I combine my nutrition education, my dietetic internship experience, my professional experience, my own personal experience with the most current scientific literature or research. So, my personal lifestyle approach emphasizes eating clean and eating green, or a raw vegan lifestyle.
Are you threatening to fight?
No, my mission is not to turn you into a vegan. That's a personal decision. With that being said, it's important that you guys understand that I don't eat a 100% raw food diet. In fact, most raw foodies don't eat a 100% raw food diet. While the idea of a raw vegan lifestyle may sound like paradise initially, and it is, long term it is much harder to maintain. While I promote and encourage the consumption of raw plant-based foods, I realize not all these foods can be consumed raw. For example, whole grains, beans, and legumes. However, a lot of these foods actually can be consumed raw. I recently found out that if you soak beans overnight for 3 consecutive days, on the 3rd day you can eat the beans raw, and they're tasty and delicious. In conclusion, my personal lifestyle approach emphasizes raw plants with acceptance of cooked plants. I think it's really important that you guys understand that I am flexible with my personal approach and I make it work for me. I don't have any rules for my personal lifestyle. Some days I may consume everything raw, so 100% raw, and then the next day I may only consume 50% raw, and then the next day I may consume 70% raw, then the next day 60% raw, then the next day 100% raw. So my goal is to average out over the week 70 to 80% raw. However, that doesn't mean that you have to consume 70 to 80% raw. Okay, and while I may mix it up, so some days I may consume lunch is cooked for me, but then dinner will be raw. And the next day it may be everything's raw until 4. So I think raw till 4 is great because I think that long term it's very unrealistic for people to think that they're going to eat raw every single day for the rest of their life. It's very challenging because, for instance, I have a daughter and she likes to cook with me. And so it becomes very problematic when you're in social situations and with your family and with your friends if you never want to eat the same things that they're eating. And so I make it work for me. It may be, where for you, it's easiest to eat raw up until 4 and then eat cooked food after that. I think that's great because I think most raw foodies were already doing that. We just didn't have a name. We didn't call it that. Most of us just kind of did whatever we wanted to do, whatever worked for us. And that's what I think you need to do. You don't need permission to eat a certain way. Okay, if you want to do raw till 6, then do it. If you want to do raw 100% every single day for 3 weeks, well then give it a whirl. Okay, you don't need permission from me or any other YouTuber to modify your lifestyle just a little bit to make it work for you. I think most of the other raw foodies out there would agree that as long as you're increasing your intake of raw plants, you're doing excellent. Okay, and it's going to take time to get to where you're eating as much raw food as me or somebody else. That doesn't happen overnight because fiber can cause a lot of GI issues, bloating, gas, distension, initial weight gain, like I mentioned in one of my other videos. We don't expect you to do it all overnight. So when we preach a message, you have to understand that you don't have to take it literally and apply it to your life right that minute. I didn't go from somebody who was eating meat to a vegan overnight. That was a transition period for me. There's no right or wrong way to adopt a raw plant-based diet, except for the fact that you have to be realistic because raw food can get very expensive. I'm going to be the first person to tell you that it is very expensive to eat 100% raw. I tried to do that, but it gets expensive. The grocery bill gets super expensive. Even if you don't eat all 100% organic, which is what I do not eat everything organic. I don't think it's necessary and it's super expensive. And so even if you're eating some conventional produce like me, it's still super expensive, very expensive. And so I think allowing yourself some wiggle room is perfect. Okay, so somebody asked me about raw till 4 earlier, and I think that that's great. I think that's super realistic. My personal lifestyle approach. What was I saying? By the way, for all the trolls out there that are wanting to troll my channel because I'm new to YouTube, you should know I was born at night, but it wasn't last night, baby. I've been doing Facebook for over 2.5 years and I have 600,000 followers there. So, I am completely used to the shenanigans and the nonsense and the trolling, and I don't really care. If you come around here being disrespectful and talking sassy to me, then I'm going to give you some sass back. Okay? And if you threaten me with an unlike, I got news for you, baby. Adios, bichachos.
Ain't nobody got time for that.